like, what's your opinion, I guess I would say, on church hurt and how to handle it? Because I think so many people handle it differently. Like some people,
Yeah.
they church hop, or they may stick with their church and, have some forgiveness with it, or some just stray away altogether, and it's to each his own. But what's your opinion on church hurt?
There's a big topic of religion versus relationship.
Mm,
And I think that helps you process church
right.
hurt.
Mm,
When you are tied to religion, you are tied to people, you are tied to when you put people on pedestals, you're tied
mm,
to titles, you're tied to expectations. There's so many things when the focus is religion, because there is this idea that if you have a particular title, then you should handle and you should do a particular thing. But the
mm,
reality is, people are in churches. And
right.
just as we mess up, as those without these big titles, pastors mess up and leadership messes up. And
Mm-hmm.
when you have a relationship with God, when religion fails you, relationship will stand up.
Mm,
And it's so important that you open the word of God for yourself and know who he is for yourself. Because when people mess up in leadership, you cannot allow that to stop the relationship that you're cultivating with Christ himself. And
mm,
so for me, I learned really, really young, really, really early, that the mishandling of leadership and the church in general, how they mishandled my mistakes, has nothing to do with the Christ that forgave me for my mistakes. And
mm,
so I lean into him, and leaning into him helps me forgive, because I
mm,
have to forgive if I'm going to operate in ministry. A lot of the hurt that I received has to do with how I was handled. I had a baby out of wedlock.
mm.
And that's huge. It's still huge now.
Yeah.
And I was the choir director, youth choir director. Our choir was probably 60, 70 young people deep. We were
Mm,
doing McDonald's Gospel Fest. We were, I mean, when you talk about slay, we were slaying.
mhm,
Every
mhm,
Sunday, doing all sorts of things. We were all over New York, and even outside of New York for events and all that. People knew who we were, especially within our particular organization. And so, for the big time choir director to end up in this situation, it's like, oh my God, the ultimate sin. I was stripped of everything. I was
mm,
assigned a seat. I was spoken of from the pulpit, and it was tough.
mm,
It was tough. And I stayed in that church for several years
mm,
after experiencing that. It took me about 3.5 years to get back into ministry.
mm,
And I had to confront leadership and say, this is what you said to me, and
mm,
this is how it impacted me. And
mm.
this is why I couldn't just jump back into it.
Yeah.
And there's some aspects of that you have to give grace, because leadership doesn't always say, I'm sorry. They
Yeah.
don't. There's something about the pride in the title, and the pride in the human, that makes you say, well, I did what I felt like I needed to do. And,
Right.
that this particular action had to be taken.
Mm,
But I really had to just forgive and say, at the end of the day, this man or this group of people, they
mm,
don't get to hold my assignment hostage. And I
right.
had to release them. I had to release the pain. And I really take, oh my goodness, I feel like any young girl that I see in that situation, it's like, pick me.
Yeah.
I'll be her mentor.
Mm,
I'll watch over her. I'll cover her. I'll pray with her. I'll sit with her.
mm,
Because no one sat with me.
mm.
No one
Wow.
did it. And so I really had to, and I had to go through that so that I
Yeah.
can gain some strength, and that I can understand grace, and I can understand forgiveness in a different way. And I
Yeah.
think it really did. I didn't have to go through that, right? I don't want to promote sin,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
have to go through that, but the fact that I did spoke to the humanity in me, spoke to
Mm.
the weaknesses in me, and did not speak in any way, shape, fashion, or form to the gift and to the fact that God had an assignment and a call on my life. And
Mm.
that was just something that the enemy could have used to derail me and to completely destroy me. But because of relationship, I didn't let religion do that to me.
Mm. Wow, that is so powerful.